Thanks so much for joining me for my 2024 luxury beauty favorites. Thank you so much if you have been tuning into Vlogmas. We had some shorts, we have had favorites in each category. We've also had favorites of various brands that I love, so I hope you enjoyed that. Today we were talking all about the one favorite, or I might have a couple favorites per category here, but I have identified my favorite in each category for the most part, and I will be doing a get ready with me video coming up soon. Today we'll be talking about them. I'll explain to you why I love them, and that is really the purpose of this channel, is to find the best of the best. So we've got the best of the best here of 2024. Doesn't necessarily mean they were introduced in 2024, but it's the best of the best that I've used in 2024. I do want to take a moment to wish you a very Merry Christmas. I hope you are spending the day doing something that you love with people that you love. I am celebrating with my family, and tune into the shorts or Instagram. I should be posting some things there if you'd like to tune in. And we're also trying to reach 25,000 by the end of the year. We have a few days left, so I would love it if you would subscribe if you have not already. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing, for tuning in, for leaving comments, for sharing the videos. All of that really helps, so thank you so very much. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So let's get into the favorites though, starting with my nails before I forget. So I've got the Hermes Polish on. We have here 01 Rose Porcelain, which is such a beautiful color. It's sheer, it goes on easily. I love the brush on this. It allows you to maximize the product that's in here. You can see how much I've used it, and it's still really beautiful going on. It's not like it gets sticky or difficult to apply after a while. It's still really lovely. This is a top coat that I have on. I have not tried the base coat yet, but I love the top coat. It allows the color to stay on for several days. I've got about a week in each wear here. I do my own nails, and these are the most worn nail products that I've used this year. Lovely. I watched a video that Hermes had, and they talked about the difference between expensive and costly. And yes, this is costly, but it's also worth all of the results that you get from this, as well as the effort that has gone into the product. To me, I have not tried anything better, and I've tried a lot. Again, before I forget, and I moved it from over here, we have the fragrance of the year. This is Beige by Chanel. This is a beautiful fragrance. It's very much the embodiment of the aesthetic that I love. It is understated yet elegant. It's effortless. It's all of those things. It's classic. It's soft. It's pretty. It's not too flowery. It's not too much actually of anything, and that's why Beige I think is such an appropriate name for it. But it is one of those fragrances you have to lean in a little bit more closely to really pick up that there is a fragrance, so it's not obvious, and I love that about it. It's just a really pretty, lovely, as you can see, everyday fragrance. I've been wearing this pretty much every day, but I have been testing out some other fragrances that I need to be testing out, but I always want to be pulling for this one for sure. It's pretty much my signature fragrance right now. On to the makeup, because I knew I would forget. If you're interested in skincare, and I think it all starts with the skin, I have a skin first to beauty approach. So I feel like if the skin is in great condition, then the makeup part is just way more fun and easier to apply, and I think it's a better result. So look for that video in a few days. But I did start out with primer, and the primer that it's pretty much the only primer I've been using this year is this by Chanel. It is the Mattifying primer. It's a lovely texture. I used it right here in the center. It helps me control oil. It also helps provide a smoother canvas for the makeup, helps it last even longer, although the foundation I'm going to talk about does a really excellent job of lasting a long time and looking beautiful the whole time. But this is what I will start with. I will go again right here on the pores. My chin area can get oily. I have combination skin, so more oily in the center, more normal on the exterior. I also can get oily here, so I apply it in this area as well. And then for eye concealer. So I've tried several eye concealers this year, and there are two that really have stood out as substantial concealing. I am going to talk about a third one as well, but I don't know if I would actually put it in that category, but this one is the Chanel eye concealer. It really does such a lovely job. The trick with this one though is to make sure I've moisturized appropriately, and that I waited also long enough for the moisturizer to sink in. So there's kind of like a window of time that's a really good time to apply this. I can't have waited too long or else it's not moisturized enough, and I can't apply it immediately after moisturizer either. So there's a very specific window that this works. But when everything lines up, it's really beautiful. It doesn't crease on me. It's not drying. I know for some people it can be, but a little goes a long way, like just the littlest bit. So this is in 40, and I have that under this eye. And then I also went in with another concealer. This is my favorite eye and spot concealer. So I do have some discoloration, and I use this Westman Atelier under the eye here today, as well as on my dark spot. So this is the one concealer that I can use in both places, eye and dark spots. The next concealer, oh, actually maybe I have 4. The next concealer I'm going to talk about is just for dark spots, and I will not apply under my eye, but this is an M2 Westman Atelier. It has a warmer tone than the 40 by Chanel, but I like this because it's multitasking for me. It works well on both of those areas and looks really lovely. Again, moisturizing is key here with this as well. It's a little bit more fluid than the Chanel, but it still is not as fluid as something like this. I did want to mention this. So I wouldn't necessarily even put this, I know it was a favorite concealer, I wouldn't necessarily put this in that category, but I think it is a beautiful no makeup concealer. If you're really minimal with that and you want a more fluid concealer, this is really beautiful too. Has been one of my most used. I did not apply it, but let's apply it now, because this is one thing that I was doing with the La Prairie that you've seen before, where I just brighten strategically, and it's just in this darkest spot right here, just like that. Just like that. You can do some very strategic brightening. I didn't plan on doing this, but I thought I'd show you. And this is in 4C. It's by Chantecaille. So if you want a more, oh gosh, it's more translucent. It's more skin-like. It's definitely more no makeup. It's beautiful though. So I love this one as well. And that one is definitely more hydrating. So the Camoflauge Stylo. Okay, so I have a 4th concealer that's a favorite. I have a use for all of these, and they all have different purposes. So I feel like we can have 4 concealers. This is the Clé de Peau concealer in Honey. This is the best thing for dark spots. So if you have discoloration, hyperpigmentation, melasma, and you're looking for something that has an opacity to it that will really take care of those. I have struggled with discoloration for the last 10 years, and finally we are at a point where it is manageable. I'm not spending a majority of my time covering up the dark spots, which was, if you've seen my videos before, I think I was spending at least half the time just addressing the dark spots and trying to cover them up and make them look more natural with the makeup. It was not a whole lot of fun, but I learned a lot, and this one I can tell you has been the one year upon year that has worked the best for me. It has SPF 27 in it, so it can help protect those dark spots from further darkening, which can happen to me if I go in the sun. They can get darker, so I'm very careful with the sun on these, especially this part of my face. So this is in Honey by Clé de Peau. Okay, that's it for the concealers. Now for this foundation, I feel like this foundation doesn't even, oh, let me fix my hair. I just dropped something. Hopefully it didn't break. So this foundation to me doesn't even really look like foundation, and that's what I love about it. It is perfecting. This is a perfecting kind of foundation, because I don't really love foundation. It has to be comfortable for me to wear it. It has to wear well. It has to look natural, because I wish I didn't have to wear foundation. That's where I am with makeup. I kind of don't really even want to wear it. So that's why I look for things that are undetectable or very close to undetectable, very comfortable, very natural on the skin. This looks like, it looks like skin. It's really pretty. And this one is Chantecaille's Future Skin Cushion. This looks good on application, looks great after hours of wear. It just is so pretty. So these have a wide range that they work with. So this can work for a few different levels. And this one is in Wheat. For today, I thought I'd try Wheat out for you so you could see that even with a little color it works. And if you're a little bit more warm, this is nice too. So nude works for me because I can go lighter and be more neutral, but this is Wheat and it comes in this cushion. If you buy this, there are 2 in there. So you've got one in the cushion, and then you have one that's not like this, but it's in a package. So don't throw away the box, because there's a second one in there. There's also an applicator, and you'll see in the Get Ready With Me that I used it. So I used it to apply it. It's really nice. It sets itself. It just continues to be able to compete with these more advanced foundations, they did a really nice job with this when they initially made it, and it still can compete with some of the newer foundations as well. It's really pretty. I love that it looks light skin. Cannot really see that it's makeup on my skin. So Chantecaille's Future Skin Foundation. And we went in with brows, which I think are so key to framing the face, even though I've got these bangs now that kind of cover up my brows. But if you see my brows, you can see there. I love a gel that can hold hair that does not want to behave. So this hair of mine likes to go in its own direction, and I like something that will have substantial hold but not be crunchy, and also have some flexibility to it and not leave too much of the product on there where you can see it. So I love the Jones Road Beauty Brow Gels. I've tried Light Brunette, which is a great color match for me if I want to add color, but because I've been going more natural in general with my makeup, I just appreciate the more natural makeup look. And I think that it's actually harder to do a more natural look because it takes more skill. It's just a lot easier to just put on a lot of makeup and cover things up, but I think it's more nuanced when you do a natural look and make it look really skin-like. So I feel like the brows kind of have to follow that. So I like this transparent version of it as well, which is what I have on here today. I use the transparent version in Jones Road Beauty. And then I went in with not one, but two brow pencils because I realized building dimension is really interesting on the brows. So I have two, and they are the same. Victoria Beckham. This is the Baby Blade, and I have Taupe now and Dark Brown. So I took Taupe and I built out the brow, so I'm able to add a little bit more to the front without looking heavy because it's not as intense. So I went and I built the shape with Taupe, and then I went in with Dark Brown, and I started about here and I built the arch part and then the tail. So you can see that it's got more dimension to it. I think it looks a little bit more natural that way as a brow would look versus a one solid color. So I like having both of those on there. I love the precision of this, but I also love that you can fill it in a little bit faster. I've figured out how to fill it in faster by just turning it on its side so it's not narrow, but it's more flat when you apply it. And then the spoolie on this is really good too. So you'll see me use this to help remove some mascara that ended up where it shouldn't have been in the video for the Get Ready With Me. We're gonna find out if I broke this. Oh, I didn't. It's amazing. Okay. Speaking of powder, powder was kind of like foundation where I couldn't just use one because I use them for different purposes. So for setting powder, I picked a really beautiful, elegant, silky powder. I love this one. It is translucent. It is translucent on me as well, even though I've got some color here. It's beautiful. So this is the Clé de Peau powder, and when you just touch it like that, it feels silky, and it's silky going on the skin. Does a nice job, does what powder is supposed to do. Really just sets everything beautifully. I just apply it to the front of my face here. I can't say enough about this. I would use it on its own, but you know me, I like to be a little bit excessive with certain things like concealer, and then in this case, powder. So on top of this powder, I went in with a finishing powder on top of that powder, and it's the one that dropped. So that's when I thought I broke, and it's this one right here. And this perfects not just the skin tone, it helps perfect the evenness of the surface of the skin. It looks more even. I added up here, I have a few fine lines that made those look a little bit smoother. So this is the Chantecaille Perfect Blur Powder in light medium, and this has been a favorite in so many videos for so many months, years at this point, and it continues to be a staple piece in my makeup. I will use it by itself, but in this case, if I want really perfected, I will use this on top of the Clé de Peau, so it looks really seamless, really beautiful. It really helps pull together, especially when I had that discoloration. It helped pull together these two parts, the concealed part and then the rest of my makeup. It helped to mesh those together, so I still rely on this for a really perfected look. Did I say I had 4 powders? I think I said, but I have 3 powders. So the other powder that I went in after blush was one that I rediscovered this year. This really maintains that glow. So I like when I have a perfected look, I still want to maintain a glow about my skin. I don't want it to look super makeup-y. So this one does such a nice job. This is Dim Light by Hourglass. I just applied it up front again. So you can see it has that beautiful dimension to it. It's not sparkly. It just provides a healthy glow. I also have learned from viewers that they use this to buff their makeup in so everything is smooth, which I love that idea. I tried it out. It's a really great tip. So if you want something that's just going to give like a diffused filter to the face. This does an amazing job. Dim Light by Hourglass, and I have this teeny tiny one, and that's definitely enough to last a long time for me. I don't use too much of it, but it does make a big difference. Then bronzer. So I love bronzer, and I think that is another thing that makes a difference. If I skip bronzer, it looks off a little bit. So I wanted to pick something that was really natural looking, something really special, and I went with the Hermes bronzer, and this is in Atlas. There's no red about this or gray, which can happen with bronzers for me. So it's hard to find something like this that's also not orange. So it's warm but not orange. It's just got a golden warmth to it. It doesn't look like it would show up on my skin, but it does. It's beautiful on. Again, the powder itself is nice and silky. It feels really silky just upon touch, but it blends beautifully. You can also dust this across as if you were in the sun. Hermes O2 Atlas. Oh, I didn't talk about eyes yet, did I? So for eyeshadow, I get so many questions about this eyeshadow palette. Whenever I wear it, I get questions. What am I wearing? I have two from this company, but this is the one that I think is the most flattering. I love the glow on this. It's very subtle. It's very sophisticated. It's a next generation type palette. The particles are very fine, so you don't see anything like chunky or sparkly, but you see a glow. And this blends really beautifully. You have all the right shades in here for a base color, for a crease, to really add some drama here. I don't have to pull for another palette to work with this one to get all of the pieces that I typically need. And I even have a color that I use to kind of blend two of the light and dark colors together, if you've seen me do that before, and one that kind of brightens as well. This is, I'm gonna say, a nearly perfect palette, which is hard to find, I think. And this is a palette, it's by Peau. It's in 3 Sundried Driftwood, and it has those beautiful tones that I love. It leans cooler, has a little bit of a silvery tone, a little bit of a mocha, a little bit of a purpley tone, but also a little bit of brown. So you can't really tell what this is, but it's also not just an uninteresting palette. It has something interesting about it, and it does have all of the shades that I like. And I love a cooler palette. So the Peau palettes, the ones that I've tried, have been amongst the most beautiful palettes I've tried. I love Chanel palettes, Hermes palettes, I love Chantecaille eyeshadows, and Peau is up there with them. And this specifically is the palette that I really, really enjoyed this year, and is so flattering, so easy to use, and again, I love the tones there. I think it just brings attention to the eyes, but in a really, again, sophisticated kind of way. Really beautiful. I do have to mention though, for my one and done, I've talked about this one so many times. This one is Chanel's Brun Talpa. In a pinch, I use this one. This one has the unique ability to be able to build dimension just with one color. So because of the glow of this, you can see dimension of the eyes, the way that it reflects. It looks like there are different shades on the eye when it's applied, but there aren't. So this, I just wanted to mention, Brun Talpa by Chanel is really outstanding, one and done. And then for highlighter, you know I don't love highlighter, but I do have highlighter on. The thing I don't love about highlighter is it can emphasize fine lines and wrinkles. A lot of times I don't wear highlighter because it just is, I think, takes away from all the work that I did with makeup. But this one is really flattering and adds a little bit of hydration here as well, especially if my cheeks are dry. Again, I have combo skin, so I can get oily here, but also I can get dry here. So this one is by Victoria Beckham. This is the highlighter in Pearl. It's like a balmy texture. I added it here and on the bridge of my nose. I think that it's really natural looking. I love this with no makeup, and then adding this, I think it's really pretty. If you want to add dimension without the appearance of makeup, then this is really beautiful. I love this one. Oh, for cheeks, we have not talked about cheeks. Okay, so I did pick two because I love a layered look, obviously. So as with the eyebrows and other things, I love building dimension, kind of with the powders too. So I took two of my favorite blushes this year, and the first one I'm going to talk about is not a surprise because how many times have I talked about this? It really does a nice job of bringing these two pieces of my makeup together. Before, where it was really a lot of concealer I needed to kind of mesh these together. Now it's not as much, but I still like applying it up front because it has a little bit of glow to it. It's a skin flattering kind of blush. It makes your skin look even better. This is by Valentino. It's 09. I love this tone. It's perfect for my skin tone. It just has that hint of warmth to it. It really does have the perfect amount of glow for me. And then I paired it with another blush. It's got a pinkier tone. You can see I kind of wanted to cool this down just a little bit because of the eye. And it's a newer blush this year. It's really beautiful on the skin. It's nothing that's going to look like powder blush sitting on the skin. It's by Chanel. It's the cream to powder blush. So it's definitely stays more creamy, and in terms of being a powder, I think it just sets. So I wouldn't even say it's got a powdery appearance about it. And this is Rose Ardent, which is beautiful. So if you're looking for something that's going to just be flattering on the cheek, especially if you are concerned about that area and it looking too powdery, this is really, really pretty. I've tried 3 of their blushes, and this is the one that I pulled for the most, and it's the most cool of the 3 that I have. And then for the lip, I have to say, the lip was the hardest thing to pick because I know it looks good on camera versus in real life, which is usually something brighter, but I knew that I wanted to really talk about the one that I used most often in most situations, whether it was in real person, on camera, out to dinner, those kinds of things. And it's definitely my most used, and I love it. I feel like I'll wear this forever. It's Bourbon Rose by Chantecaille, and this is how much I've used it. And I don't even know, I think this must be my 5th one I've ever had. I've had quite a few of these, but it goes on like a lip balm, but it provides just some lovely color. And one of the most important things is that it's comfortable, because if a lip product is not comfortable, I'm not wearing it. And I do want a lip that goes along with this very, very natural, very effortless kind of look. And I feel like this does that. It adds color. It looks like the lips are a little bit more plump. There's just enough of a glow in terms of the shine. It's not super glossy or anything like that, but it's hydrating, provides that lovely natural glow. It is the perfect lip product for me. And for mascara, this will not be a surprise. I added Chantecaille's Faux Cils mascara on. I love both of them, actually. Faux Cils Longest Lash mascara would also be a favorite, but today I used the Faux Cils mascara that does not have the peptides in it. It has such a beautiful result. It's one of the few mascaras that is tapered on the end, even when you add more. Some mascaras, if you like me, where you add many layers, it can get a little bit clumpy at the end and develop like little deposits on the end. This one doesn't do that. It stays tapered the whole time. So I love adding on several layers of this as well. And I think it's so flattering. Very natural. You can go in with one coat. You can build this. So I love that there are options here with this mascara. It's really beautiful. And we can't forget this. This is Trench by Victoria Beckham, and I don't even know what category to put this in because it's not a concealer, but I use it as a concealer. It's an eyeshadow stick, but I don't use it as an eyeshadow stick. I use it here to really just take care of that redness under my eyes. It works better than concealer. It stays in place. It's been a really nice solution. So I guess it goes under the solution category for me. And I have a few of these now, so I travel with this. I wear it every day. It's definitely a daily staple piece for me. I forgot to mention these little tabs that have been popping up. If you click on those, you can go back to the video if you want to. If you click on them, it'll take you to the product page and you can look at it, read more about it. You can add it to your cart. So if you are using those tabs, thank you so much. They're just like affiliate links. I really appreciate it. And remember to subscribe if you have not already subscribed. And thank you again if you are returning. I appreciate all of the support. Very Merry Christmas to you and your families. Again, I hope you're enjoying the day. Please let us know, what are your favorites of 2024? I would love to know. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. And I have several. This is the Les Exclusives. It also helps provide a smoother canvas. So I went in with Taupe and I carved out, that sounds wrong. I went in, and for mascara, this will not be a surprise, I added Clé de Peau's, no, not Clé de Peau, and I keep dropping everything.